Introduce Mr. Sar to you. Mr. Sar is the president.
Thank you all participants, because we are here for almost 4 days, and today is the end, and we are very, very happy as governors that it is a very, very useful and important training for the data collectors and also for the CCGs, because CCGs, sometimes if I say CCGs, people will not understand. It's the community consultative group. So they were here. Most of them are nurses from different art centers, from here to Basse. So every day we are here, we learn a lot on this project. So for that being the case, I am welcoming Nas, Deputy Director, and I am welcoming also CCM, Mr. Njai, and also my brother Jam, as he have did a lot on this training. So there is also Mr. Sabali. Mr. Sabali is the steering committee chair, and my program manager Samba C. She is also with us here. So I'm welcoming everybody, participants, media, and everybody. You are all welcome.
One message we want the press to deliver, which is HIV, the disease is a treatable disease. And we want Gambians to know that HIV is just an infection like any other infection in the country. Right? A person with HIV has a sickness just like any other sickness. Someone even who has a cancer has more problem than a person with HIV. So we want them to understand that HIV is just a sickness, it's just an infection, and that is what first the data collectors were taught. It's just any infection, which Ebola is worse than HIV. Huh? Ebola is what? So, but somebody who has HIV, people tend to look at it as Quran Balanar. There is nothing like a Quran Ba. HIV is a disease which today is treatable. Our mission today is those medicines which are available. Yes, there is the nurse boss. He says it's not curable. Yes, they are still working on vaccines. So those who are not yet here. But for now, there are people who have got HIV since 1986. And they are living, and they are even stronger than some of those people who probably have got other minor infections. So please, today, that's where the purpose of this gathering is the treatment, the care, how available is it in the country. If there are any problems, what we can do to see how to minimize those problems. So that, just like you are talking of malaria, you want the mosquito nets, you have the other things. Similarly, for HIV too, we want to have the tests, we have to have the medication and other things. That's what we are here. So we are doing the closing ceremony here. That's why we are calling the nurse director to now come and add something to what our chairman, our president has said. Thank you.
I know, Mr. Chair. He has been helping us when we are the planning directorate at the Ministry of Health, develop the policies, strategies, and as well as even costing. So I call him Mr. Consultant. So I thank Sambasi, the program manager Gamnas, President Gamnas, the coordinator here, and the CCM, Executive Secretary. He has been here the whole day, in fact calling me throughout about this program, showing how interested he is in this program. And despite the FPM is in visit, that's the fund portfolio manager, the global fund in country, he has little time, but despite that, he tried to spare his time and attend this important closing ceremony. So, Mr. Njai, welcome. And thank you for that.
Thank you.
Mr. Njai has been grooming us throughout, from the health sector down to the CCM. So, Mr. Njai, you're welcome. And then to the participants. This, we have been yearning for this for a long period. Who will come and train and support and capacitize the people living with HIV, as well as other institutions present here. But it's like NAS alone cannot do it. But thank God, Global Fund is foresighted, now using the IPT, coming into the country, training those who are in need, and training those who are benefiting, the beneficiaries themselves. Now the beneficiaries in turn go and see what the healthcare providers are providing at the periphery. And then they will in turn use those data and champion it and go and advocate for more. As I speak now, the current NFM, that's the new funding model, is $10.3 million. And we are currently negotiating another one, which is far below the 10.3 million. So then how about the next one? Maybe 3 million. In the Gambia, for instance, if you look at the data, there are over 21,000 people living with the virus. And out of these 21,000, only 6,100 are on treatment. So many people here will ask why. Why don't put them on treatment? But then we have criteria how to put them on treatment. Simply because of we don't have the money to buy ARV to put everyone on treatment. If the UN is advocating for 1990, that everyone should be tested, and all those tested should be on treatment, and all those treated should be on viral load suppression. And that one will lead to the 3 zeros. But if the fund is not available to put all these people on treatment, and everybody is silent about it, so definitely this thing definitely coming at the right time. Go to the field. For these 4 days you have learned a lot from Mr. Consultant. Apply it. Get the data. Quality, I don't mean any type of data. Quality data, because I know there are 5 indicators. Use those indicators. Don't go outside those indicators. It's a guide for you. Use the indicators and get the required data we want from the facilities, from the healthcare providers. Bring them back, and somewhere, Mr. Consultant can still help you. Collect the data, generate information. You can use it. We can use the information. And the advocacy level, at any level. We are lucky. Our First Lady's office have HIV component in it. Because it's the Oflagam. And she's championing it up to the AU. So if you stand in front of her and tell her, Ma, this is what is happening, and this is our gap, how can you help us? She can advocate at any level. It's the highest office. So definitely, I cannot thank you more, Samba and the team, and Dr. Sabali. He's very busy, but he's leaving all his time coming and guiding and helping you people. He was at NAS in the morning, because we were all at the tight corner to decide. It was very difficult to decide. How come someone with a positive patient come to me and say, I tested a person and he's positive, I tell him, you have to wait to be on treatment. So it's very difficult decision to take. So we have to invite all those stakeholders to come and we decide together. Because a Global Fund, they are not giving everything they are. They are complementing government. So to me, the Global Fund has come now to challenge us. What have you people do? We are just complimenting you. Someone who was giving you $100 is now giving you $30. And is asking you to do more. So it's difficult. So that's why we invited all the chemistries, the lab technicians, call them the specialists, and they say, my friend, can we decide now what to do with these targets? We're targeting 8,100 by 2018. Put them on treatment. Do you think it's feasible? If government and other partners did not come, it's not. So everybody's hands should now be on deck to help us achieve the 3 zeros. So I cannot declare it close since I'm not the last person to speak. But again, thank you all.
Mr. Ablai Mamjai, who is the Executive Secretary of the CCM. When we say CCM, is the Country Coordinating Mechanism for the Global Fund. Thank you.
Good afternoon, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to be very brief. because I believe 4 days has been a long time and you have to go out to the field anyhow, because the deadlines and targets set seem to be very, very short. But of course, it's not your fault. Now, the only couple of things I wanted to say is that at the level of the CCM, we have always been, at least during my tenure, we have always been advocating for evidence-based discussions. Let me put it that way. You see, if somebody comes and tells me that we have a stock out or we have drugs that are expiring or whatever, I want to see the evidence. And I think that is one of the things that what you are going to do will do for us. So one of the things I would also request, but I'll discuss that with Samba and Cham maybe and Nas, is that once the data is collected, it's analyzed, even before it gets to the group, let us have it at the level of the CCM. Because one of the things we'll also have to ensure is that it becomes always, every quarter, it becomes an agenda item, so that we can discuss it and bring in Sabali, bring in Nas and everybody, so that if there are any challenges, we'll also ensure that those challenges are resolved. That's important for us for a number of reasons. One, the 12 community is extremely important as far as we are concerned. But also, this ITPC intervention came through the CCM. I mean, we signed the agreements, we signed the documents, and we are also supposed to ensure that it works. The other challenge is it's being piloted, if I may use that word, in a number of countries, and we happen to be one of them. Now, so far, the regional manager was here last week. That is the Global Fund regional manager, and overall, he's happy with all most of the things we are doing compared to the other countries. And we have to ensure that this one also works.
Thank you.
And you will certainly have our support. But again, let's base everything on dialogue. Let's base everything on facts, because that is also important. Now, for me, GAMNAS is also an important institution for me, because it was set up, I believe, when I was PS, right? So really, there's a linkage. Okay. So please, that's also one of the messages I want to share. It was also the time of Dr. Kasama and Rose and Alaji Koli, and yes. So please, our doors are always open. Mr. Sar knows that. Samba, in fact, sometimes even calls me at night. so really, let's have that positive, build that positive relationship. We may have differences, we may have issues, but then let's put everything on the table. You will continue to have our support. This is our own intervention, because as I said, it was signed by the CCM Gambia, and all of us must ensure that it works.
Thank you.
Having said that, am I supposed to declare close or Mr. Sar?
You have two things to do.
Okay. Then okay. So then I would hand back to the chair.
Okay.
I participated in this training. I realized that though it is not curable, but it is treatable. Treatable in the sense that if you use your drugs as prescribed by the nurse or the doctor, you can live long, and then you will not be able to transmit the virus to others. Because we realize two things, that the more you stick to your drugs, your viral load will decrease, and your CD4 count will increase. And once your CD4 counts increase, that means that you are getting healthier and you are getting well. The virus is not an illness per se, but what it did is it tried to attack and fight, your white blood cells, that is the soldiers in your body, and once it is conquered, you become vulnerable to diseases. Like for the person who is not affected with HIV, can have cold for 3 days. But you who is already affected with HIV, your cold could take longer period, because your white blood cell has been conquered and there is no resistance to fight the cold virus. And that is actually what it did. But it does not kill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dewan.
Thank you.
Yeah, I've attended this, instead of 4 days, a 5-day training.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a project funded by the ITPC, okay, West Africa. And here we are trained by specialized people on data collecting, community treatment, observatory. That is how to monitor the HIV treatment in the country. How people living with HIV are accessing the treatment in the country. What are the challenges? What are the way forward for them? This is what we learned. And from here we are trying to strategize things and also see ways which we can help each other.
My name is Mustafa Drame. We've learned a lot. This training tells us how to deal with people living with HIV virus in the Gambia and how to help them about it.
How will this impact on your work when you go back?
Yes, when I go back, especially in Basse Health Center, it's going to enable us to help them and also to give them some skills whereby the stigma and discrimination is giving them more problems so that they can come in the hospital at the hospital level to have their treatment with quality.
Okay.